Welcome. Welcome back. My name is Drake and this is Touching the Edge. Welcome back or welcome for the first time. So happy to see you here today, and I'm happy to see you here because I'm interested in a fresh start. I'm interested in a new beginning. It reminds me of when I was a child. My initial attraction, some of you may know, when getting involved with meditation practice at an early age. When the TV show Kung Fu came out in 1972, I really got into that TV show, and it eventually led me to other things. It led me to being interested in Taoism. But initially, my first attraction, I came across existentialism. That was my first thing I came to after that TV show. I read books like Nausea by Sartre, and I read The Stranger by Albert Camus. And The Stranger actually was my favorite one. And it was this story of this man who seemed to be completely liberated from the opinion of other people or from the actions of others, or even his own opinions and actions. He felt a detachment from what people would do, even if people would vilify him. He wasn't concerned about being condemned by others. In fact, he ended up being condemned and put to death in that story. But I remember at the end of the story that he was actually happy. And I was really intrigued by that, and I was drawn to it, and really drawn to existentialism initially. But what ended up happening for me with that philosophy is I got depressed. Existentialism was this idea that the future was so bleak that you should stay in the present. And I was drawn to that because my future felt so bleak. I was seeing so much violence, and humanity just did not seem hopeful to me, or a place that I could be hopeful. Later, I came across Zen Buddhism, and the first book I came across in that was The Way of Zen by Alan Watts. And that was this idea that the moment was so beautiful that it was worth staying in. And that was what I eventually was drawn to, was that incredible beauty of the moment. So beautiful, it was a recreation. You were recreated in the moment, and I'm still committed to that to this day. Being recreated in the moment, finding recreation, and that's what recreation really is. It's recreation. And so I want to suggest to you that you find recreation today. Find those states that are so immersive, things that you enjoy doing so much, reading, artwork. Find those states that are so immersive that you are completely absorbed in the activity. And then come out from there, and be aware that when you are recreated, when you are recreated, you have a new beginning. You have the ability to do things that you couldn't have done before. Isn't it amazing what we find going on in the world? Could you have imagined this years ago? Could you imagine the world the way that it is right now? We need a recreation. We need to be recreated. And that means we need to be willing to do things that we never would have been willing to do in the past. In my past, I dealt with such social anxiety that I could never have spoken in front of groups or put these videos out. But I am recreated, and I'm glad to do things that I was not capable of doing in the past. What might you be able to do? How might you be able to lead us? So, in finding that recreation every day, I would ask you to consider doing some action that is so absorbing that you can't hold on to the way the world is, and get a fresh beginning. Sing. Do chants. Sing Row, Row, Row Your Boat 3 times and then pause, 3 times and then pause, and get into that rhythm. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream, pause. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream, each time with a pause in between. And you will find that it absorbs your attention and you find relief. So, thank you for joining me today. Don't forget, find recreation today. I'm going to ring the bell. I'm going to ask you to listen carefully. Here we go. In recreation, find a new relationship to supporting humanity and healing. Find a new relationship to kindness, to compassion, to joy, and to positive indifference. Find a new relationship to supporting justice around the world, in your neighborhood, with groups that don't look like you. Find recreation and a new you, because we all need it. I bring my hands into prayer position and I bow to you. Namaste.